Alright guys, this is going to be episode 1 of probably a little mini series that I'll be doing on creating my first food plot. My wife's family has some land that my brother-in-law and I are going to be, like I said, trying our first food plot for this fall, and a little bit of land management. Kind of just doing a lower quality video today, just going to be walking around trying to figure out the exact acreage, if it even is an acre. I'm guessing it's probably more of like half an acre or 0.6 of an acre, but going to be kind of tracking where I walk on the perimeter using Onyx just to figure out the exact size of it, so then we kind of know, you know, how much seed we need, how much lime, or like a liquid calcium replacement that we need to order, and kind of what everything will entail. And this land is pretty unkept, pretty wild, so there's going to be a lot of management that goes into this. I'm going to be spraying, I think tomorrow, with 41% glyphosate. If we get a break in the wind, even if it's like 2 hours, I think this stuff is rainproof. So we're going to be trying that and then giving it 2 weeks. There was quite a few weeds and grass species in here that I think would probably mess with kind of the crop that we're looking to put in here. We're thinking about doing more like a winter greens or a brassica blend, just due to the time frame that we have, and like I said, it's pretty unkept, or pretty wild right now. So you can see there's a lot of grass species in here, a lot of weeds, obviously different patches of prickers in here, and some small trees that we would have to take out, but overall I don't think it would be too much. I came in here more so, like I said, to walk the perimeter, get an exact size on this shape here, just so we have a couple options depending on wind. Thankfully the spot's pretty forgiving. There's a lot of fencing in here because this used to be a horse area, so really they can only come from, you know, back there or right in front of me where I was just showing, and then behind me is kind of just open hay field. So pretty forgiving as far as that goes. You can see here there's an old tree stand that's obviously in one of the worst spots ever, so gonna be getting rid of that, and then probably hanging a couple stands in here, just kind of depending on what, you know, what this area allows us to do. Not a whole lot of trees that we could do in here. They're a lot smaller than I'm sure they look on the video, so maybe we'll have to do some sort of ground blind or elevated blind, whatever's in our budget, because it's not a huge budget. So yeah, this is kind of the first episode. Like I said, it's more of a lower quality video, just kind of talking and explaining what the series is going to be. Hopefully the next few episodes are a little bit more in depth and kind of what we're doing as far as seeds and how we're treating this, and kind of the step-by-step process. Again, this is my first time ever doing this, so I'm not an expert on it by any means, but you know, hopefully you guys get something out of it, or even some entertainment on what could possibly be a big failure, or something that could turn out really cool. So yeah, here we go. I'm gonna do a soil test here super quick. I just bought a cheap one off Amazon. It tests for pH, and then also it tests for N, P, and K. So pretty important stuff. It was kind of the 4 that I was really worried about, because this land is kind of a little swampy, so I'm not too sure on how it'll be, but just gonna kind of pull some soil out of this for those tests, and then we'll update you on the results. So again, first episode of hopefully a very cool series, so we'll see how it goes. And the soil definitely looks nice. I mean, definitely full of life. You can see there's just full of weeds here right now, which shouldn't be an issue here in a week or so. But I'm just trying to get a little bit below this top layer here and just kind of take some of this soil. Here's that test that I ordered off Amazon. I think it's like a rapid test or something. It's green. It's like 14 bucks on Amazon. Just gonna get a little bit here because I know the other 2 tests that I'm doing, I think you have to like soak this and then take the water from it. So gonna be getting a little bit here. I might even get a couple areas just to make for sure. Like right here is a little bit more sandy, which is kind of what I was worried about, being that majority of my town is sandy. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely plenty of soil there. You can see the difference in the two that I just took. One being a little bit more rich and one being a little bit more full of sand and hopefully not clay. But yeah, I'll show you guys the results here in a second. Really glad I brought my rain boots out here. Didn't realize how much it was raining today. But here's an old house there. Here's kind of the property. Definitely all overgrown. Nobody really hunts this besides my brother-in-law and I, and my father-in-law, so kind of cool. It's well over my head. Here's this. Could possibly be a pretty good entry route. Obviously we're going to need to set things up depending on wind, which I think the spot will be honestly pretty forgiving. There's quite a few areas that the deer don't come in on, or they can't come in on. There's really only one major area, and it's that trail that I showed you guys with some of those overhanging branches, which would be perfect for a scrape and stuff. Again, this is just kind of winging it right now. It's the first year, and stuff really doesn't seem to take off until a few years in, so who knows. All right, so I'm not sure if you can see that entirely, or how it's showing up on the camera, but it looks to be pretty close to 6. It honestly looks more green in real life than it does here. Like right there, it looks pretty yellow, but it does look like a 6, which is honestly better than I thought it was going to be. I was really hoping for a 6.5 because it wouldn't be too hard to bump up to a 7, but I'll take 6. I'll definitely take 6 over like a 4.5. So yeah, I don't think it'll take too much of that liquid lime stuff that I'll be using to get it up a little bit. But there you go. That is the pH test.